muzzle that gives Parliament its soul, but the enduring principles of balance, precedence, and the inclusion of minority voices in decision-making. Parliamentary politics, then, is not merely a numbers game. Yes, numbers matter, but principles matter more. At its core, Parliament is a moral contract, a shared understanding that power must be exercised with restraint, and that electoral victory, no matter how decisive, must never become a license for institutional overreach or unchecked dominance. End quote. Mr. Speaker, the majority caucus in this 9th Parliament has time and again wielded its numerical strength not as a mandate to shape and enrich debate, but we've often seen this as being used as a weapon to impose its will on the House. A clear example in their sudden increasing reliance on certificate of urgency for every bill to railroad legislation, sidestepping due diligence and undermining parliamentary scrutiny, and eroding the oversight role that is so essential to our democracy. We have witnessed on multiple occasions the majority bulldozing its way through decision-making processes with scant regard for consensus or constructive engagement. But democracy is not about majoritarian tyranny. It is about balance, inclusion, and accountability. The dangerous precedents being set by the majority, where power is exercised without restraint, must not be encouraged. We would encourage our colleagues to bear with us, even as we put forward our argument to scrutinize. They must not see it as frustrating them, but they should see it as our bit in enriching parliamentary democracy. Mr. Speaker, government has time and again been compelled to reverse unlawful or ill-conceived actions after the minority raised the alarm. The so-called Doomsday levy, we welcome the suspension, but surprisingly, government used a backdoor to implement it to further burden the people of Ghana. We reiterate that we support any attempt at ensuring reforms at ECG. We do not agree to the imposition of levies and taxes. Within this 6 months alone, government has increased the levies, increased levies and imposed burden on Ghanaians when it comes to electricity consumption. And we know that the people deserve better. We support reforms and would urge government to come forward with reforms rather than imposing taxes. Mr. Speaker, it is very troubling that within this short period, a lot of businessmen are facing crisis because they are being targeted in one way or the other. The minority wonders why. Foreign businesses are doing well, but Ghanaian businesses have become targets of certain state institutions. Mr. Speaker, the recent attack on the warehouse of Magdan is something that we should all condemn. It is not proper for a country to see the unleashing of state security on the private business of a Ghanaian. Whereas there is no single foreign business in our country suffering from such attacks from state institutions. This must end. We should encourage our own and support our own. We should build our Ghanaian industry and not subject them to partisan affiliations. It will not help our country. To our friend Magdan, I say to you, you are one example of a Ghanaian businessman who has done so much, created jobs, yet going through this. We pray that the good Lord himself will comfort you in this difficult moment, as well as all those businesses that have become subject to attacks because some people feel they are affiliated to one political party or the other. Mr. Speaker, on Galamsey, this government has become a tragedy before our very eyes. There's a complete breakdown of the fight against illegal mining. Galamsey is now worse. This government has completely failed in its fight against Galamsey. Our rivers are polluted. Our forests are vanishing. Our children are drinking poison water. Yet those who promise to end Galamsey, as soon as they are voted into office, have become the chief enablers. On May Day, the Trade Unions Congress, TUC, publicly condemned the NDC government's weak, half-hearted approach to tackling illegal mining. And what did they get in return? Verbal abuse, baseless accusations of partisanship, and vile attacks from the NDC's communicators. They were not alone. The University Teachers Association, UTAG, also added its voice to the national outcry. UTAG has issued a stark ultimatum. If President Mahama fails to honor the anti-Galamsey pledge he voluntarily signed before the 2024 election, they will embark on a strike action. The Catholic Bishops' Conference has also boldly added its voice on this matter. Government must take action. And if indeed government is determined, this house, this side of the house, the minority, is ready to support this government to deal with the issue of Galamsey. The consequence of this government's Mr. Speaker, the consequences of this government's negligence are not abstract. Doctors are now sounding the alarm over a spike in gallbladder-related diseases in communities affected by Galamsey. This is not just an environmental crisis. The conflict of interest is glaring. Economic gain versus environmental integrity. So long as we create incentives for gold sourced from illegal mining, we are not fighting Galamsey. We are funding it, and government must take note of this. This House must demand accountability and transparency from Gold Board and insist on mechanisms to verify responsible sourcing. Anything less would rather increase the situation and worsen it. Mr. Speaker, let me now deal with the issue of the unrest in Bawku. Mr. Speaker, we witnessed an alarming surge in insecurity, including spillover of Bawku conflict that tragically claimed the lives of students in Nalerugu and Bawku. Mr. Speaker, fortunately for us, the leader of the House is the MP from Bawku, for Bawku. I call on this House, let us avoid making this a partisan matter. Let us pray for peace in Bawku. Let us reach out and encourage all stakeholders that have been given the mandate to mediate, to do their work. Let us guide our utterances and ensure that there is peace in that part of our country. Mr. Speaker, when peace is attained in Bawku, it would have positive spiral effects on other areas in the country. Conflict in other countries starts in such manner, and with time, it just gets out of hand. We must not allow Bawku to get out of hand, and I want to assure my respected colleague, the Majority Leader, that I will always remember him in my prayers. I can just relate to it. If it were my constituency, how would I even go there and all? As well as other constituencies in the Kusau area. I pray for peace for them, and I say that your colleagues in this House are here supporting you in prayers, and we believe that with concerted effort, our country would experience peace, and your people would also experience peace for development to take place there. Mr. Speaker, let me deal with the issue of attack on our journalists, the media. Mr. Speaker, recently, the GJA president had cause to express concern about what is happening to journalists. The assault of not fewer than 12 journalists have become of grave concern to the Ghana Journalists Association. Mr. Speaker, the executive must speak out and end this. Now let me also turn to the state institutions that are involved in investigations. Mr. Speaker, this side of the House, the minority, is never against accountability. I repeat, the minority in this House is never against accountability. But we want to say to the state agencies, execute your mandate with a human face. We are seeing situations where, Mr. Speaker, bail is being used as punishment. Iyoko, for instance, is
Honorable minority, please address the chair.
Mr. Speaker, today we see Iyoko granting bail with onerous conditions. Suspects are being demanded to provide title documents, valued title documents, and it is done such that the person will remain days in custody. Mr. Speaker, we have to watch some of these. As a country, if we don't find space to end bitterness and revenge, it will continue. Today, it is NDC in office. NDC will not be in power forever. If something happened yesterday, it is time for us to end it. Because, Mr. Speaker, tomorrow, for those who are occupying positions, they should remember that if they don't control and check some of these things, it may be difficult for the moderates in the opposition party to control those hawks when that time comes. It is time to end the bitterness, the revenge, and the pain. We are a country of one people. If the hawks will continue to dictate to governance, so be it, but we'll live to see. Mr. Speaker, I cannot gloss over what is happening to our judiciary. Our Chief Justice is being hounded. The ongoing situation involving the suspended Chief Justice raises serious concerns. The process lacks transparency and is being cloaked in so much secrecy. The public is left in the dark, and the questions are mounting about the selective justice, political witch hunt, and the shielding of party loyalists. The judicial must never be reduced to a battlefield for political score settling. The Attorney General's recent conduct raises serious concerns about politicization of justice. We are witnessing a troubling pattern of selective prosecution where political opponents are swiftly targeted while allies of the government are shielded from accountability. This blatant double standard undermines public confidence in the justice system and threatens the rule of law at its core. Today, there's a new word in town, 60-40. Mr. Speaker, before I bring my remarks to a close, let me touch on a matter that occurred in this House on the 22nd of July. Mr. Speaker, on the 21st of July, I attended the Northern Development Conference. I left home at dawn to honor the invitation of the majority leader. I returned very fatigued, but I still had to come to the house. I was taken ill the early hours of 22nd of July. And whilst on my hospital bed watching the TV, I witnessed an event in this very floor, which left me very sad. Mr. Speaker, I found it very strange that after the selection committee had taken a decision to table a motion regarding composition of delegation to Pan-Africa and ECOWAS, two events took place on this House floor. One, on Pan-Africa. Mr. Speaker, after both leaders had discussed at length on the issue of Pan-Africa, I found it strange that a motion was moved that gave the MPP minority 1 seat with an observer status. Mr. Speaker, the formula we agreed in this House floor was to give us 2 seats. So what was given to us was not a favor. Our rights were denied us. And I'm saying that, Mr. Speaker, this must never happen. We demand that the majority must revisit this matter and ensure that the right thing is done. This is a house of precedents. Mr. Speaker, on the ECOWAS situation, the situation was worse. The leader of the house rose and moved a motion to vary the delegation, ostensibly taking my name out. Mr. Speaker, I found this very strange. I am a member of the ECOWAS Parliament, duly sworn in with a fixed mandate of 4 years. I am also a deputy speaker of ECOWAS Parliament. Mr. Speaker, internally, our side had done our own internal arrangement, and although leaders normally go to IPU and CPA, my deputy and I had discussed, and she was taking the slot for IPU and CPA. It would also interest you to know, Mr. Speaker, that as a leader, I am not on any committee in this parliament, apart from our statutory committees. So for an impression to be created that the deputy minority leader is being cheated and that the majority leader was coming to her rescue was rather very rich. Mr. Speaker, we must not allow such situations to happen. It takes away the very trust that exists between us as leaders. And I pray that this must never happen again. However, I am happy to announce that the deputy minority leader, upon becoming aware of this situation, swiftly reacted to it, and Mr. Speaker has also swiftly responded to the memo from the deputy minority leader, all aimed at resolving this matter. And I'm happy with the content of Mr. Speaker's response, which response gives me great relief that indeed there is still an opportunity for us to judge all and to resolve situations in this house. Mr. Speaker, let me thank parliamentary service staff led by the clerk to Parliament for their support. What would life be without you? We thank you for your industry. Mr. Speaker, to the Marshal and his able team, I say to them, thank you for supporting us as a parliament. Mr. Speaker, not the least, let me also thank the media. They have often stayed with us at long hours and carried our views to the people. Mr. Speaker, now back to this house. You, the first deputy speaker, and the second deputy speaker, in many situations, you were the ones presiding. Mr. Speaker, we also thank you. There were times that the minority disagreed with you, but I believe that in the spirit of democracy, we've managed to move on. And let me also thank colleagues in leadership, the majority leadership and the minority leadership. Let me thank you for supporting the cause of democracy in this house. As we go on our vacation, let me remind colleagues that family first. Family first. If all of you will be healthy, would have the right mental health, to do your work as members of parliament, you must keep the home at peace. Let's find time for our family, our kids, our spouses, our partners. Let's find time for extended family, and let's check our health. Mr. Speaker, we too often get busy with our work and forget about our health. Let's not be afraid to go for checkups. Let's spend time to relax, but also be mindful of the mandate of the people who have given us this opportunity. May God bless our homeland Ghana and make it great and strong. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, before calling on the majority leader to give his closing remark, before calling on the majority leader, let me make this announcement. Preparation